All right, welcome in here to the DMV zone. It's 3 o'clock. I'm Marina Morocco. Let's get you started on a busy day as we get to your top 3 at 3. Talking about everything from honoring the late Senator Lindsey Graham to a report on a university shooting out of the Commonwealth. But right now we could get off with the big story of the day. And of course, it's the weather. As we told you about yesterday, it's a hot start to your work week, but also things will take a turn to rain tonight. Let's get you outside and give you a live look from our Beaumont, Virginia Bear Chase camera. Things are looking good right now towards the mountains, but certainly some clouds are forming. Caitlin Roth is standing by with more on the timing and when things will start to come down. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi there, Marina. Yeah, these clouds are billowing, and when you see them start to go vertical like that, it indicates we've got some instability in the atmosphere. It's hot, it's humid. Oh, we are ripe for thunderstorm initiation. And in fact, right around Beaumont in western Loudoun County, they're starting to see some of the first cells go up. So we're in the developmental stage here where the storms are just beginning to form and could quickly or slowly, always depends, become strong to severe as we go through the next few hours. Right now it's 90 degrees back home here in D.C. Southwest winds at about 14 miles an hour. That dew point a soupy 71. Everyone else is basically in the 80s. We just happen to be a little bit hotter there, interestingly, right along the Potomac. And we're all very humid as it is noticeable, even compared to yesterday, kind of how muggy it feels out there. That will help not just fuel the development of the storms, but it will allow storms to be really heavy rainmakers through the evening hours. Big picture, we've had pockets of showers and storms to our north going on all morning, and we've had a decent swath of development well to our south and west. In between, it's been a little slow to get going, but like I said, we're seeing those first cells start to form in our area, namely in Loudoun County, up into Frederick, Washington, Allegheny counties, across 81, Winchester. You've got one cell headed for you. These are just normal thunderstorms at the moment, meaning nothing's too strong or severe. There's this one patch right over Leesburg, so they've got a downpour. It's really spotty at the moment. Better intensity to our south and west. This is well to our south and west through the Blue Ridge, where there was an earlier tornado warning being issued across central Virginia. Severe thunderstorm watch has been issued. This will go for the whole area until 10 p.m. So as we get closer into the evening commute, we do expect more storms to form and the whole pattern to kind of accelerate. There's also a flood watch out, curiously, just for Anne Arundel and Baltimore counties. So northeastern Maryland has the best chance of seeing those slow-moving, heavy rain-producing storms that could lead to the ponding on the roadways and the streams and creeks coming out of their banks. So let's take a look at it. In the next half hour, things are really starting to fire to our west, and then in the coming 2 hours, that's when we see more of that sweeping through. This is 6 p.m. and the model definitely shows a heavy pocket off to our north and east. So that could be the flood watch really kind of nailing what this short range model is doing, saying anyone from Frederick through Thurmont, Baltimore, Aberdeen, up towards northern Delaware and the Philadelphia area could see the heaviest of the rain. You notice storms kind of just fizzle as they pass straight through the D.C. metro. We'll see. I think there's still a potential that everybody gets a good thunderstorm, but the energy clearly wants to be focused, as you can see, by 9:30 off to our east. So it is perhaps one of those situations where, one part of our area gets to see more than another. And while they're developing to the west right now, they might come together better along the bay and towards the beaches. We'll see, though. These days, it's always a wait and see, and just be ready for a storm to pop up over you at any given time. Overnight tonight, we quiet down. I wouldn't say we really cool off just quite yet. We still have a bit of humidity left over into your Wednesday. It's a much nicer day, let me preface by that. Mostly sunny, temperatures in the 80s, humidity is better. But again, just enough energy aloft. We could get maybe a passing shower. It's probably not as dry as we want it to be in terms of humidity, but it is a much nicer day. There's a look at your planner, which looks great. Sunny skies, highs in the mid 80s. I think most of us really do stay dry, and any shower chance would be very limited. Temperatures also through the week and into the weekend staying right at or below normal. Thursday, Friday looking pretty comfortable. And then by Saturday, we're right back up into the upper 80s. So again, watch for the storms at the bay and the beaches today. By Wednesday and Thursday, you should be fine. Friday looks beautiful along the Chesapeake. And as we get ready for another beach weekend, our first one in August, again, the showers may have the tendency to get a bit hung up to the east. So that could linger into late tonight. Otherwise, Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny, and then more sunshine up there in Rehoboth for a beautiful Friday. There's your 7-day. Thursday, same thing. Mainly a dry day, mainly a really nice day. Just a chance we could have a very passing shower. Mostly sunny and dry on Friday, getting hot over the weekend with storm chances returning into next week. So we're just getting going with the storms right now. I'll be back at 4 o'clock with another update on radar. Marina?
Let's not forget, we're still in summer.
Yeah.
At least for a little bit longer. It's gone by really quickly.
The thick of it. We are really in the depths, I think. We've still got a ways of summer to go.
All right, let's enjoy it, even with the thunderstorms. Thank you much, Caitlin. We'll see you back at 4 o'clock. Let's move on, because a wake-up call now for students heading back to Montgomery County Public Schools next month. They will not be allowed to use their cell phones. The MCPS policy change follows Maryland lawmakers approving legislation requiring every school district to adopt policies limiting cell phone use during the school day. For more on this, we've got Ashlyn Campbell, Bethesda Magazine's education reporter, with how things are getting set up and laying the groundwork here for this new school year. What's the chatter right now with a month left before school starts?
Yeah, so the biggest change that I think students and families will see is that high schoolers will now not be allowed to use their phones during the school day at all. They were previously allowed to use their phones during lunch and between classes, but not during instructional time. This really is similar to changes that the school district made last year for middle schoolers. So now all MCPS students will have to have their mobile devices turned off and away during classes, lunchtime, and transitions between classes as well.
To some degree, this was a little bit phased in, like you said, right? It started with the younger students. Now we're here at the high school level. And mainly, I mean, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but there was a discussion about high schoolers having more access to their phone, given the fact that they were older, to potentially report emergencies, et cetera. Where do those conversations stand today?
Yeah, I think at the Education and Culture Committee meeting for the County Council yesterday, Peter Moran, Chief of Schools, said they're trying to provide a distraction-free environment and kind of follow the state law that's been implemented. So I think at this point, I think a lot of parents and families might be excited about the change for high schoolers, because I think a lot of parents see cell phones as a really big distraction. And I think some high schoolers might have a different opinion on that.
Yeah, I suppose, you know, when this first came out, and obviously we talked about other jurisdictions like Fairfax County that was doing the pouches and how exactly these phones were going to be stored. Has there been discussion about what that's going to look like at the high school level for Montgomery County?
Yeah, I think it really depends. When they started a pilot in 2024, they did a few different things. I think middle schools and high schools have at least like 2 pouches per class, kind of depending on which school it is. I know some schools have lockers. I think it's really going to be a school by school basis of how they figure out how to kind of enforce this. But they've done a few different solutions so far, you know, the pouches, the lockers, stuff like that. I know some schools just trust kids to like put them away, but I think we'll have to wait and see until the school year starts, because they still haven't released the regulation or the student code of conduct yet.
That was going to be, I think, the main part of this, right? We know how people feel, parents, students, but the enforcement aspect of this. At the end of the day, they're going to rely heavily, I imagine, on teachers and staff here to enforce it, and I imagine to make that data reportable so the taxpayer and the parents can see what's happening at school. Do we know what that looks like?
I don't think so, not yet. A year ago or so, the teachers union said that they were encouraging more strict rules surrounding phones, but I really think the enforcement is going to take until the school year starts, when they start talking to the school board about this, what it's really going to look like. I think it will really depend on which school, if it's a middle school, if it's a high school. And typically they had like 1 or 2 pouches per class. So I don't think it'll be a full school-wide, everyone puts their phones in pouches quite yet, but I think we'll have to wait and see until the school year starts.
Definitely. And Montgomery County saying, paraphrasing here, that this is more about a learning opportunity than it is to be disciplinary action. So we'll see what comes of it. Of course, we appreciate it. Ashlyn Campbell there with Bethesda Magazine. Thank you much. And let's move on, because something that sounds counterintuitive, releasing hundreds of thousands of mosquitoes to deal with a mosquito problem, and that's exactly what's happening in D.C. this summer, leaving a lot of people scratching their heads. We've got Jenna Lee, editorial fellow at the Washingtonian, to discuss the strategy, fighting fire with fire here, and there's science behind this that could be effective.
Yeah, so they are releasing 600,000 of these non-biting male mosquitoes. They're called ZAP males. And basically the Wolbachia bacteria that they are infected with, when they mate with females, that means that the females can no longer reproduce. And so it kind of acts as a sort of natural birth control. It's a method that hasn't really widely been used in the US. It's been used overseas, but they've seen some really great effects from it. And so hopefully it's a way that will, control the local mosquito population without, the harmful effects of insecticides.
Right, and that's something that we know, right? The old school way of you fly a plane and you drop all kinds of chemicals over the area to try and abate the mosquitoes, especially in the summertime. Why this region? Why did DC or the region get picked for this strategy?
So actually, it's a private company. The company is called Be Safe Mosquito Control, and they're the only private company right now that is offering this service. I spoke with the owner, Todd Montgomery, who started the company in 2023 after hearing about this technology coming out of the University of Kentucky, and that is where they source their mosquitoes from, this Kentucky-based company called Mosquito Mate. And so it's not really widely being used in the U.S., although Google's parent company, Alphabet, is trying to expand the technology and release millions of these mosquitoes to California and Florida. But yeah, there's no real reason why this region is, why it's happening in this region. It's just a company that decided they wanted to try and get rid of mosquitoes in a sustainable way.
So is it the company itself that's doing this, or is anybody, a taxpayer, funding the project, if you will?
No, they actually said that there are currently logistical issues with, the mosquitoes are not locally produced, which means it would be hard for a local government to do this at that kind of scale. Got it. So it's all this private company. It's they are serving 25 customers who are paying for the service, and they are releasing 1,500 mosquitoes every week into these companies into these customers' backyard. But they do hope to eventually partner with local governments and try and get this expanded in scale, because they really believe it is a sustainable way to combat disease-ridden mosquitoes.
Well, hopefully the rest of us will be beneficiaries of this small-scale project and approach. Jenna Lee with the Washingtonian, we so appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll stay with us here on the DMV Zone. We've got much more on the other side of the break.